You're lying in bed, scrolling through your partner's old social media posts, and there it is, a photo from 3 years ago. Her with someone else, looking happy. That sinking feeling in your stomach. That's what we're talking about today. The challenge of dealing with your partner's past relationships. It's something that affects more relationships than you might think, and it's time we had an honest conversation about it. In today's hyper-connected world, dealing with a partner's past isn't just a personal issue, it's become a modern relationship challenge that needs new solutions. Think about it. We're the first generation where your partner's entire relationship history might be just a few clicks away. Those old posts, photos, and memories don't just disappear anymore. Dating apps and social media have made our romantic histories more visible than ever before. That person your partner dated 5 years ago, they might still be liking their posts. The skills our parents needed for healthy relationships, they're just the starting point. Today's relationships require a whole new level of emotional intelligence and digital awareness. Here's the thing about jealousy over past relationships. What we think we're protecting ourselves from versus what we're actually sacrificing are two very different things. Let's look at what's really happening when we obsess over our partner's past versus what it costs us in the present moment. You might think you're protecting yourself from future heartbreak by analyzing their past relationships and looking for patterns. There's this idea that by maintaining awareness of their history, you're somehow protecting your own dignity and position in their life. You might believe that keeping tabs on their past helps ensure their loyalty to you in the present. Sometimes we tell ourselves that understanding their past relationships helps us understand them better. But the reality, you're missing out on genuine moments of connection because you're mentally stuck in their past instead of your shared present. The more you question and probe about their past, the more you actually damage the trust they have in you to accept them as they are now. That constant background anxiety about their past relationships, it's stealing your peace of mind and emotional energy. Perhaps most importantly, you're limiting your relationship's potential by viewing it through the lens of past relationships, instead of letting it develop its own unique identity. Let's talk about the 4 most common situations that tend to trigger these feelings of jealousy about past relationships. Understanding these triggers is the first step to managing them effectively. The classic scenario, you're scrolling through Instagram and suddenly there's a comment from an ex, or worse, you discover photos they never deleted. These digital footprints can feel like emotional landmines in our modern relationships. Maybe it's that restaurant they mentioned was their special place, or you walk past their old apartment together. These physical spaces can suddenly feel loaded with invisible meaning and history. Running into people who knew your partner when they were with someone else can be tricky. They might reference shared memories or inside jokes that make you feel like an outsider in your own relationship. When your partner handles a situation exactly how they did with their ex, whether it's celebrating an anniversary or dealing with a conflict, it can make you feel like you're living in someone else's shadow. Understanding this cycle is crucial because once you're in it, it can feel impossible to break free. Let's break down each stage of what I call the jealousy cycle. It all starts with a trigger. Maybe it's as simple as finding an old movie ticket in their wallet or hearing a story about their past. That trigger could be anything, a name mentioned in passing, a song that reminds you of their past, or even a place you visit together. Suddenly you feel this rush of emotions, anxiety, fear, maybe even anger, all hitting you at once. Your first instinct might be to withdraw, to make a snide comment, or to start questioning everything. Once triggered, the mind begins its familiar descent into what I call the spiral. Your thoughts start racing. You begin comparing yourself to their ex, wondering if they miss them, if they were happier then. You might find yourself diving into social media, looking for connections or posts that confirm your fears. The imagination runs wild, creating entire scenarios and conversations that may have never happened. Eventually, these feelings need an outlet. They find their way into your relationship one way or another. It might start with subtle digs or sarcastic comments about their past relationships. Sometimes it erupts into full-blown discussions about their history, demanding details or reassurance. Or you might just shut down emotionally, creating distance between you and your partner without explaining why. The aftermath of these episodes leaves lasting impacts on your relationship. You might feel better temporarily after getting reassurance or answers to your questions. But each cycle leaves tiny cracks in your relationship's foundation. Trust erodes bit by bit. Without addressing the root cause, you're likely to find yourself back at stage 1, ready to repeat the cycle. Let's get real for a moment. When we're jealous about our partner's past, it's rarely about their ex at all. It's about something deeper happening within ourselves. At its core, this kind of jealousy often reflects questions about our own self-worth. We might be thinking, am I good enough? Or, do I measure up? These aren't really questions about their past. They're questions about how we see ourselves. That nagging urge to compare ourselves to their ex. It's usually less about them being better or worse, and more about our need for validation and reassurance that we're the best our partner has had. Sometimes, diving into their past relationships is our way of trying to control the present and future. If we can understand everything that happened before, maybe we can prevent anything bad from happening now. Previous relationship wounds, whether from our own past or childhood experiences, can make us hypervigilant about potential threats, even ones that only exist in the past. Often, what looks like jealousy about the past is actually anxiety about the future. We're not really worried about who they loved before, we're worried about whether they'll keep loving us tomorrow. Here's a perspective shift that changed everything for one of my viewers, and it might just change everything for you too. Let's break this down. When we see competition, we're viewing relationships as a contest where someone wins and someone loses. But when we see it as a learning journey, we understand that each relationship your partner had taught them something valuable about love, about themselves, and ultimately about what they really want in a partner. Those experiences led them to choose you, to recognize what they have with you, and to appreciate the unique connection you share. Their past wasn't about finding someone better. It was about growing into the person who could recognize and value what they have with you now. Let's turn all this understanding into actual steps you can take today. Here are 4 powerful actions that can help you break free from past-focused jealousy. First, create healthy digital boundaries. This might mean unfollowing their ex on social media, or agreeing with your partner about what photos or memories from the past should stay in the past. You don't need constant reminders of their history popping up on your screen. Next, develop a practice of present moment awareness in your relationship. When you catch yourself dwelling on their past, actively redirect your attention to something you appreciate about your relationship right now. Maybe it's a recent memory you've made together, or an upcoming plan you're excited about. Here's something crucial. When jealousy comes up, don't bottle it up. Instead of letting it simmer, learn to express it productively. Try saying something like, "I'm feeling insecure right now," instead of making accusations or demands about their past. This opens up dialogue instead of creating defense. Finally, focus on building your own unique story together. Create new traditions, inside jokes, and special moments that are exclusively yours. The more you invest in creating your own relationship narrative, the less power their past will have over your present. The ultimate goal isn't just to overcome jealousy, it's to build something stronger together. Here's how you both can participate in creating a more secure relationship. Make it safe for both of you to share feelings without judgment. This means creating moments where you can both be vulnerable about your insecurities and hopes. Maybe it's a weekly check-in or a special place where you both agree to be completely honest. Instead of comparing your relationship to their past ones, actively look for and celebrate what makes your connection special. Maybe it's your shared weird sense of humor, or how you both geek out over the same things. Whatever it is, acknowledge and cherish these unique aspects. Put your energy into creating new experiences together. Plan future adventures, set shared goals, or start traditions that will become your own relationship milestones. Each new memory you create pushes the past further into the background. Remember, you're both works in progress. Support each other's personal growth and celebrate how you're evolving together. This isn't just about overcoming jealousy, it's about building a stronger, more resilient partnership. Before we wrap up, let's cement the most important lessons we've covered today. These are the insights that can transform how you view your partner's past and strengthen your relationship moving forward. Their past relationships weren't mistakes. They were chapters in their story that helped shape the person you care about today. Every experience, good or bad, contributed to who they've become. When jealousy comes up, see it as a spotlight highlighting areas where you can grow stronger, both personally and as a couple. It's not your enemy, it's your guide to deeper self-understanding. The most beautiful part of your relationship isn't what happened before you met. It's what's happening right now, in this moment, and all the moments you choose to create together. Remember that trust isn't about having a perfect past. It's about consistently showing up for each other in the present and actively building a future together. Your relationship isn't defined by what came before. It's being written right now, with every choice you make and every moment you share. You're the co-authors of this story, and the best chapters are still ahead.